Hello.
Greetings, beautiful hearts.
It's Margarit, Brigham.
And Cherie and Day.
Today we are coming to you with a bit of information. And it was Cherie who introduced me to Nicole. And I just want to start off right off the bat to say not to judge a book by the cover. Because I was introduced to Nicole probably about a year ago, but I definitely was judging a book by the cover. So if you were introduced to her, she has a lot of great information that we're going to try and do a short form here. And also, you know, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah,
right?
Don't shoot the messenger.
Please
don't shoot us.
So that our objective is to, yes, introduce you to Nicole. And what's her last name?
Lebrasseur. And she helped found and start the movement myfreedom2017.com. And it's very, very important information if we really know what's going on in the political landscape at all, and if we really care about our future generations and our planet, this is really important information.
Yeah,
it's something we can actually be empowered with, and we don't have to continue along the same routes that we're doing right now.
Beautiful. So I'm going to basically be interviewing you, because you have a lot more information than I do. So we started off with, did you know Canadians are shareholders, or could be?
Yeah, that we have the right to be shareholders of each country that we're born in, and all the natural resources of each country should be, dividends, shares for each person born in each country, and that we have the right to claim that, but right now we're not, because we haven't been educated in that way to know that we have that right, and we do have that right. So we're hoping to endeavor to show you how we can take our rights back.
Yeah, and there's an opportunity that we can jump on now, that we can lose very soon because of these 3 Ps. So do you know about the 3 Ps? And this is private-public partnership.
Correct.
And again, so you can...
Yeah, so the issue with the public-private partnerships, which I think specifically the U.S. and Canada are pushing through, is that when the public-private partnerships come into effect, which, you know, some of them may have and some of them are still upcoming, that actually makes us more debt-based slaves than we already are, because we are. If you haven't realized that, please go to the YouTube channel, go to Nicole's other information and do the research. This research has been out there, this information is out there for over 20 years. There's paper trails, follow the money. So yeah.
PPP. So I like to, and you'll jump in after, but I like to use the example of the 407. So this is taxpayers' money. We built this highway, if you don't know, if you're not in Canada.
Yeah.
And it got sold to Spain. So now there's a toll, basically, to use this, and the money doesn't even come back to the people. It goes to another country.
Right.
So that's just one example.
That's just one example, exactly.
So it's not only corporations, it could be foundations, it could be groups. So basically what wind did with our hydro, the same thing, right? The hydro was the government, and then she started selling it to corporations. So if there's ever a problem, the government can't do anything.
Right. So they abdicate their responsibility, but then they put it on us, the people. So the one of the main issues with the public-private partnerships is the corporations own 51%, so it makes them the majority shareholders, and we only own 49%, which means if anything goes wrong, we're all the ones getting sued. We're all the ones that have to pay for it through our tax-paying dollars. So our hard-earned labor, which we're paying taxes on illegally since was the Temporary War Measures Act, which brought in our original personal taxes. It doesn't really need to be there, because before, all our infrastructure was actually covered and paid for more than enough through corporate taxes, and also through the original use of the Bank of Canada.
Right.
Yeah, so we lost our right to actually print money for our own country and use it and have that interest, that small amount of interest, come back into being dividends in our own country. So now what happens is we borrow a debt, and then we have to repay that debt to a foreign country, and we can never get out of that. It's a perpetual debt-based system that has us all losing, and this is why we're essentially tax slaves. And the public-private partnerships increase that debt on us, that responsibility.
Yeah.
But we have no say. This is the problem. As shareholders, we would actually have a say, and those dividends or taxes or interest money would come back to the people as a whole. And so right now we vote for a representative. And if you followed the Comer case, which was about our right to actually use the Bank of Canada, and how Pierre Elliott Trudeau sold us out on that and had us getting money from private banks. In that case, the judge basically said that they lost the case because we voted for a representative to speak for us. And even though we didn't agree after we voted, they can do what they want, and we have no legal recourse.
Right.
And it's set up like that in law.
Right. So what is the solution that Nicole has? Well, one, that we are sovereign.
Yes, we are sovereign. The will of the people supersedes the will of the law. But that takes the will of the people standing up and actually making a change, doing something to stop voting for it, stop voting for the system, stop giving your power away. And Nicole's solution is that we vote for ourselves. So we can sign the Convention of Consent and become a cooperative, like she calls it a People's Union or People's United. And so it's not technically a union, but it's more like a cooperation. And that way we can actually all have a say through moratoriums and referendums. We can change the structure at the top and have everyone benefit, and change the power structure, make that power shift so the people could be the 51% shareholders. Like, I'm all for globalization, but not when the corporations own the 51%. Yeah. Like they're pushing through all this global citizens, which makes us these clients, and all this stuff, and people are kind of getting blinded. They don't understand the underworkings of that, and how a little tiny shift between 49 and 51 makes all the difference on whether we're slaves or not, or whether we're the ones dictating to ourselves, voting ourselves on what's best for our planet and our future generations, or is it the corporations who seem to be raping and pillaging everything in their power?
Yeah, so
thank you, Troy. You're very welcome.
Yeah. So
I'm doing this for my grandkids, which I now have almost 5 of. Thanks, Allie. Love you.
Yes, we are concerned grandparents here. Mm-hmm. And Nicole, when she was able to translate into French, the Quebec are seeing this and they're jumping on, because again, it is very, very simple. I mean, she has done the research for us. We don't have to go down those rabbit holes. She has the dates and
Yep.
everything else.
All the documentation, all the proof, all the following the money. She's done it. She's got video upon video
Yeah.
from other people who have done the research as well.
Yeah.
People who have been like right in there in all these meeting rooms, and the whistleblower. She's got it together. She knows what's going on, and it's very clearly laid out. You know, and she has a solution. And how to, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is the pen? What are you signing? Well, let me just say, for one thing, is there, you know, a lot of people don't vote because they don't agree
Right.
with
The system.
the system. And when we do vote, we give them the power,
Yeah.
and we can't hold them accountable.
Right.
So we actually are, you know, standing up to hold him accountable before Trudeau even gets out. We have to do this while he's still in,
Yeah.
to hold him accountable. And she is just over 1,000 people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's been at this for a number of years, and you know, most of us are aware that the powers that should not be have their ways of keeping information like this small when it needs to be as big as possible. It needs to be as shared out as possible,
Yes.
as much as possible.
Yes. So she's looking for the,
Yes, Charles, that's an excellent point.
what was that?
He's saying, how about the money borrowed in each person's name from the moment of birth? And this is part of what Nicole's talking about. When we take our power back, you know, and we're not, we become shareholders, then that money borrowed in our name becomes ours. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So signing the Convention of Consent.
Yeah. It doesn't cost a dime to sign the Convention of Consent. All it takes is your few minutes to go to the website, open up the form, read it through, and sign it. I mean, if you're not voting anyways, this is a way to vote for all of us, to vote for ourselves. So
Yeah.
please, at least do the research, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she has it laid out pretty simply. Like, if you go to CPU, if you look for Canadian People's Union anywhere, you'll find it on YouTube. She has Facebook pages. A lot of the pages, there's Non-Voters United. There's a lot of Facebook pages that are private. So she has a $20 a year, which is like nothing, membership to help her cover the cost of all her time, her research, all the website hosting pages, domain names. I mean, these do cost money, and she spends a lot of time and energy because she cares, you know, because she doesn't want to see the world go down the toilet. She cares. She has children just like most of us do, and she doesn't want to see this world be sold out. We don't want to, you know, see our kids and grandkids to be further slaves.
Yeah. Or ourselves.
Or ourselves. I mean, we already are, but some of us don't see it as much or feel it as much. And it's just, if we don't stand up now, it's not getting any better.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to keep going. And the more they can take, the more they will. Unless we go, oh, wait a minute.
Unless we become adults and hold them responsible.
Unless we actually hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just want to make a point about that. You know, a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, $20, you know, like that's the price of a pizza, okay? And if you've ever given to any political parties, it's not just a one-time deal that you think you're giving. They hound you with phone calls and emails, you know, wanting funding over and over and over.
And yet they get all kinds of corporate funding too, so.
Yeah.
Nice big scam they play on us.
Yeah. So, what else did we want to say? Just, the facts, all the research is there, and it's myfreedom2017.com.
Yep.
She was hoping this would happen in 2017. So, again, why do we only need 1,000 people to sign up for this? Didn't you say they were passing laws with only 1,000 people? 1,000
Yes,
votes?
some of the recent laws that were passed, they did like a moratorium or something where they only got just over 1,000 people to be a cross section of all of our country, and pass some laws through on that. And it's like, that's not really an accurate view of what the people really want. So Nicole is saying that we could essentially do the same with just over 1,000 people. Her original goal was 51% of every province, because that carries way more weight than just over 1,000. But she's saying that if she has to move sooner because of the fate of the what's coming down the pipelines, if we don't do it, or at least try, things are just going to keep getting worse. So
yeah, at least try.
Yeah, at least try. And if you have not watched the movie Cloud Atlas, it's kind of a really good look at like what's going on. Some of us understand that we're eternal, and some of us understand that we keep coming back. And if you look at Cloud Atlas, following a group of people through 6 different lifetimes, and the progression and what's going on in the world, it could be very parallel to kind of what's happening here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have anyone right now putting any questions up or anything, but the big distractions, I think the biggest distraction is a word like conspiracy. Oh, conspiracy. You know what? Again, I get that we're all busy, but this is really easy to do just from your desktop.
Yep.
It would only take 5 minutes. Again, it's a woman who has done so much research. We don't have to do that. So, and it's a way to rally together and
all right, Charles.
Peacefully, quietly. I went to my MPP's office
and asked for the money that they borrowed in my name. Good for you, Charles.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Sometimes the comments come up and they disappear real quick, so we can't always get to them, but we will definitely go through them later. So if you do have questions and it's short enough, we can catch them and address them. If you want to, find out more information, or there's something we haven't covered that you want to find out more about. So we're doing our best to give you a good overview.
Like a short, something short that we want to change. And we want to change at the top for true democracy, because what is she called? De facto?
Yeah, we're in a de facto government at this point in time. And again, if you do the research, you'll see how true that is. And
okay, so what does that mean for someone that doesn't know?
It means that they kind of illegally got their power by not giving all the information to the people, and by creating documents that aren't really valid, that weren't agreed upon by everybody. So we're in a de facto government. Plus, right now, most people don't realize that the Constitution we do have says in divine right of the Queen. Whereas if we get together and sign this Convention of Consent and have a moratorium, we can actually change that, or a referendum, I'm not sure, but we can change that into divine right of the people. And if you did not notice, when Trudeau got into office, he actually swore allegiance to and secrecy to the Queen. And I was kind of dumbfounded, thinking, I thought I learned in school somewhere back in the 80s that we became sovereign from England. So why would our Prime Minister be alleging secrecy to the Queen? This is not jiving here. Something's going on. So I really challenge you to look further into what is going on, who's pulling the purse strings and pulling the punches and making the moves, and how we can, with the will of the people, we have the will, we can do it. It's just a matter of the will.
Yeah.
Please have the will. Please, people. Yeah. I love you. But we can do better than this. The longer we wait to do this, the more people suffer needlessly.
Yeah.
The more people go without, don't have places to live, don't have food to eat, sold into slavery. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of the things that we could do to change. And right now, we're like running around, putting out this fire and putting out that fire and dealing with all these little causes of the effects when we could go right to the top with the will of the people and change it in legislation. So we don't have to do that. And it would trickle down. You know, if we started actually putting into legislation that we would, instead of profit at the expense of others, which is the goal of every corporation, profit, and which makes it parasitical when it's at the expense, we could go into a symbiotic relationship where we're all benefiting. And by changing it at the top for divine right of the people and having things voted on where we actually include the environment, because we are attached to our environment, you know, what we do to it, we basically do to ourselves, because it's our sustaining life force. Without the environment, the clean air, the clean water, the clean food, we don't have that. And we can't survive properly without that. We can't even think properly without that, which is maybe why we're in this state, this mess, fog, because we don't always have clean air, clean food, and clean water. Yeah, my roommate just told me about that, Charles, about this new law. I personally believe that we should all be treated as adults. I don't believe that certain groups, certain different nationalities or religions should be given any special preferential treatment over anyone else because of their religion or their race. I disagree with this. I think that together we could be adults, and personally, you know, if we all vote that it's a law to wear a helmet, that's fine. But on the other hand, is where are we in the sense of being adults? If we're an adult and we choose to ride our bike or our motorcycle without a helmet or go roller skating or anything else, you know what? That's our choice. We should be allowed to have that choice. Maybe it's a silly choice, and maybe if you have an accident once or twice, you might learn from that choice that a helmet is a good idea. But I don't agree that anyone should be getting any special treatment. Thanks, Theda.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, so my call is for us to be adults and, you know, stop wasting the time on things like the U.S. drama.
Yeah,
because we have our own.
They have us so mightily distracted with Trump and all this cosmic joke stuff, and have us divided between the races, between the sexes, between the meat eaters and the non-meat eaters. You name it, there's a distraction there for you. And every time you see that distraction, think about why is that there?
The corporate control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many things to keep you kind of looking the other way, where they're sliding these laws in and taking more of your rights away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to mention about the legalization of marijuana. This is not a good thing. We think it's a good thing, but really all it does is give more corporate control to the corporations. You know, after they persecuted so many family members and people in the community for doing something, now they want to get rich off of it and control it. We're adults, people. Stand up and be an adult. We don't need to be told that this substance is legal or not legal. It should be decriminalized. It doesn't need to be legalized. Decriminalized means we're free to use it as we want. We can grow it if we want. We can eat it if we want. We can use it as medicine. We can be responsible for ourselves and our own families. We don't need someone dictating to us what's good for us.
Yeah. So let's just stop at that, because, you know, we do really want to direct you to Nicole. But since August 1st, you know, we are clients. So the government is supposed to serve the people, right? And what it is actually making us more consumers. So it is profit over people.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if you have the will and you care about yourself and your future generations, please do us all a favor. I have signed the Convention of Consent. I have become a member of the People's Union for 2 years now, and it's something I highly recommend you look into. Please,
Yeah.
please.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
There is a solution. Again, it's females here coming out, but you know, it's don't shoot the messenger. Just there's someone who's done the work.
Yeah. Nicole has done the work.
She's done the work, and
so Nicole Lebrasseur, myfreedom2017.com. Please check it out. If you're not a member of the CPU, please do so. Your future generations will thank you.
And our own.
And our own.
Like we don't have to be these slaves. We do have a Bank of Canada. Before everything is taken away.
Yeah. We could be printing our own money. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for being here and listening. And please share.
Yeah, please share this out with as many people as you can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Big
love. Bye now.
Bye.